headphones on. Diverge Radio, Black Writer, I am creative. Y'all ready?
Yeah! It's time for us to step in. All in the name of grace is how we reppin'. Yeah! We the future like the Jetsons. And all of our sins is prepaid like the next men. Yo, the enemy is getting desperate. We not backing down, we ain't putting down our weapons. Boys, they trying to break this down into sections. But it's time for us to come together, get aggressive. It's time for interception, time for intercession. Time for us to start making changes, we need progression. Listen to my lecture, listen to my lesson. Diverge Radio, classes in session. Yeah, Rock Riders. Yeah, we on the mission. We gon' give you something different. Diverge Radio. Yeah, we on the mission. We about our Father's business. We about our Father's business. Yeah, we give you something different. It's Diverge Radio. Put them headphones on. Let's make change. Yeah. Let's come together. Let's go. Yeah. We on a mission.
Diverge Radio, I am creative. Black Writer.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it's time, y'all. We finally here. It's been 7 days and it's been a long time coming. Here it is, Diverge One Radio Podcast. Man, I want to thank you for all the shares, all the love, all the support, all the followers on social media. Thank you. I really, really thank you. And I want to give a special shout out to my boy Block Writer, who blessed me with this crazy verse on this track, which was created by yours truly. And listen, it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great message. Listen, I can't wait for you to hear this. Let's go! Yeah, this part of the segment is, or the special segment is pretty much, we're going to call this Word to the Wise. And then what Word to the Wise is pretty much, I'm going to drop some nuggets on you. And from the Word of God, that's going to pretty much help us, in everyday life. It's going to be very practical. Something that we can practice. And something that we could kind of bring to the realization that, maybe something about ourselves that we can change. So the first word to the wise is going to be pretty much the power of our voice. And in Proverbs it says that the power of death and life is in the power of the tongue. And pretty much I believe that. And I truly believe that if we speak things, they can happen. Like, for instance, if I say you wake up in the morning and say I'm going to have a bad day, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have a bad day. Or if I enter into a certain situation and it seems like no matter what I do, nothing works out, and I just say, man, it seems like nothing's never going to work out. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out. But you have to change your language. You gotta change your language. And the only way you can change your language is by what? That's right, changing your mindset. So that's the one thing that we have to work on. I know I have to work on. I mean, me personally, I remember plenty of times in my life, when I was younger and I just made a lot of sacrifices and I saw a lot of my friends and people I knew fulfilling their dreams, chasing after their things, chasing after things and dreams that they wanted to do. And I'm sitting back here and I'm looking, I'm like, man, what am I doing with my life? And nothing's never going to happen for me. And you know what? Nothing wasn't happening for me because I was saying it. I was speaking it. But then when I started speaking positivity, when I started speaking life, to my situation, I'm saying, I am going to be a success. I am going to be somebody. I am going to go back to school. I am going to make something of myself. And, and that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. Hence, Diverge One Radio Podcast. So listen, the power of life and death is in the tongue. So what are you going to speak? You going to speak life or you continue to speak death? All right, so that's your word to the wise. Yeah, so this is the first episode, and I know I said that a few times, but I'm just excited and nervous at the same time, so bear with me. But this is the first episode, and I kind of wanted to start off my first episode. I was like, what you gonna talk about? So with my wife, I said, well, what are you gonna talk about? It's, what are you gonna say? What's the topic's gonna be? And I said, the first topic, you know, can be a little bit about me, so you can get to know me. I'm creative. That is my name. And for those know me personally, my government, but we're not gonna do governments right now, But we gonna go by I am creative, and that name just came out of nowhere, really. I feel like God has truly blessed me with tons of creativity. I mean, I can remember as a young child, just with music and just I played the drums and I used to sing. I retired from singing, but I played the drums and painted and I drew and my aunt taught me how to draw and I should draw comics and make up characters and just always something creative I always used to do. Even have creative ideas and just things that were in my head that I just sometimes would frustrate me because I couldn't get it out. And then graphic design comes into play and I went to school for that and then I realized now I could get stuff out of my head. So now, with the graphic design and, learning Photoshop and Illustrator and, learning Adobe Premiere and Final Cut Pro and learning all these different things and teaching myself, photography and videography, and kind of just getting these creative ideas out my head. I mean, it's amazing. And, and all of these things, from God, I know God has blessed me with, mind for marketing and advertising and just trying to find a clever way to get messages to people. I just felt like God has blessed me with those creative abilities. And, I am comes from Him. He's the great I am. And because He created me and I'm created in His image and we're created in His image, therefore I am. And whatever He is, I am. If He can speak things into existence and they happen, then hey, I can do it too. So between me being I am, because the little I am, not the great I am, but I am His child, and He's given me the ability to create, and that creative ability, I am creative, was born. So it's pretty much thanking God. That name is pretty much thanking God for the creativity that He blessed me with. And this whole podcast idea, like I said before, was that it was just something that I wanted to do. And I'm a minister. I've been preaching for a long time, since the age of probably 7, 8, but really taking it seriously around 15, 16, maybe 14 years old. And been doing it for a while, and a lot of times, we're told, get a speaking engagement so people can hear you. But I don't have to do that. I can go right here on my computer and, hook up my podcast. And when God gives me a word to speak to you, or even for myself, I just want to share with you because it blessed me so much. I want to bless you. I get on here, and record myself and send it out to the masses. You know what I'm saying? And I repeat, the masses. Go ahead and share this, y'all. But yeah, I mean, seriously, this whole idea, God was like, hey, listen, do it. This is what I want you to do. And I said, what I'm going to call it? And I just went through names after name after names. And then there's something about that word diverge that just hit me. It was like diverge. And it's like just turning away, taking that, this veering away from the status quo. Because the church, I feel like we're under the status quo. And we got to break out from under it. The church wasn't designed to be under the status quo. You know what I'm saying? We were persecuted, accused of wrongdoings just for being believers. We weren't ashamed. And now I feel like we're being ashamed and we're just going with what society deems status quo. But I'm here to tell you we got to diverge from that, and that's where Diverge Radio came from. Diverge1 Radio, and one pretty much comes from the one. The one, the great I am, our Heavenly Father. Jesus Christ, and our Lord and Savior. He's number one, numero uno. So, He's the number one reason why we should diverge away from the status quo, And That's where that came from, and like I said, it was nerve wracking because it's something I always wanted to do, and it's like you on social media, and you start seeing people do it, and you like, man, I had this idea like 3 or 4 years ago, and I know I'm not the first person to do a podcast. Podcast has been around long before my idea, but just the whole point of just the fact that seeing people going through with their ideas and I'm sitting here just sitting on it. That's the worst feeling in the world, especially when you're passionate about it. And I finally, but it took time, and I didn't rush it. I was patient. I got my audio interface and my condenser microphone and my stand, and I got my Mac, and all this stuff, and finally everything just came into play, and game, shout out to my wife. She hooked me up with the photo shoot. You guys gonna see. You guys saw it in the countdown. You know what I'm saying? She took those pictures, and we a team. And shout out to my baby. And it was crazy, and everything just lined up. And so now I'm here, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about some things. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always gonna be nothing. Everything ain't gotta be biblical and religious. It could be a simple message from any simple thing, But we gonna talk. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point. But yeah. So finally, Diverge One Radio is finally here, and it's just great, man. But I want to talk about one thing, and my wife, she likes to sip on the tea. She's always in the shade room and all of that stuff, which is cool. I mean, that's her stories. How back in the day when moms and grandmoms and aunties, they wouldn't let you watch your after school cartoons because they had to watch General Hospital or Dynasty. I'm telling my age, but anyway, that's her stories. You know what I'm saying? Loving hip hop and all that. That's her stories. That's her General Hospital. So I ain't hating. But a lot of times she be, telling me like, you heard about what happened to Cardi? You heard about what happened to Bow Wow? I'm like, nah, ain't nothing. She was like, well, tell me this. Well, it was the one thing she did tell me. She told me about what happened with Cardi B. What happened with Cardi B was she did good in the Grammys. She was the first female artist to win in that category for, I guess, album of the year. I'm not sure. I didn't see the Grammys. I should have saw it, but I'm a little bitter about where hip hop's going. But that's another story. But shout out to Cardi. She doing good though. And shout out to her winning the Grammy. But on some other stuff, she was telling me how she had pretty much shut off her Instagram, from the millions of followers because she was upset about the haters that was basically getting at her for winning the Grammy. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait, what happened to all the support? Like last year, if I'm not mistaken, for Bodak Yellow, she didn't get a Grammy, and everybody would say, oh, she got snubbed, they did her wrong, and then this year she wins a Grammy, and now you hating on her. But you know what, though? That's typical. And my wife was telling me all of this, and I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, it's a good message behind that, because, yeah, she's human. Her Cardi's human. And, you are being followed by millions of people. You're being followed by millions of people, and people got stuff to say, and you can't satisfy everybody. I mean, if you go through life trying to satisfy everybody, you will drive yourself insane. Seriously. Like, your life will have no purpose if you purposed it only on giving people what they want or trying to please people. You would go crazy. But so she closed down her Instagram. She was upset. She was done. She was like, I'm sick of this. All these people talk about this, that, the other. She's in one of her videos. She was like, I'm pregnant and I'm locking myself in the studio, and I'm putting all this work in, and I'm pregnant. I'm not having something in my bed in 4 days because I'm in the studio putting in this work, and you guys going blah 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, man, listen. I'm gonna tell you this, and a lot of you probably already know it. No matter what you do, no matter how successful you become, you're always gonna have haters. Always gonna have haters. And the crazy thing about this, and the message that I got out of this was that no matter how much work you put in, no matter how much success you achieve, somebody's always gonna have something to say about it. Think about it. They looking up, throwing hate at you. Come on, change your perspective. If they not eye to eye with you, you ain't got time for it. They throwing shade up at you, not down at you. I was listening to TD Jakes, and he said, I've never met a hater that was more successful than the person they were hating. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, that's true. Like, you're going to have haters, but it's always somebody that has less than you or doing better or worse than you that hates. You buy a house, they hate because they don't have a house. You buy a new car, they hating because they don't have a new car. Or you get a new boo and you're in a good relationship, they hating because they don't got a boo, let alone a new boo, and they lonely, so now they hating. Think about it. There's not one hater that's more successful than the person that they hating. So, don't even let the haters mess with you. Because really, be honest with you, we need the haters. Because the haters motivate us. They give us that drive. They give us that hunger. You know what I'm saying? Not to prove them wrong, but just give us that drive to where I gotta prove to myself that what they're saying is not true. Bump what they're saying. They just giving me fuel. So come on and hate. Come on and hate. Yeah, come on and hate. Really, really, please. Because listen, I know my self-worth. And I think that's what Cardi B realized, because she did cut back on her Instagram, that she realized, hey, I know my self-worth. I know what I did. I know the struggle that I went through. I know the tribulation that I went through to get to my success. I know what had to happen. I know what it took. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see any of you in the studio getting me some water or whatever. So, so listen, man. Like I said, haters are going to hate, but hey, we need the haters. We need the haters. I was looking at this quote by Steve Maraboli, and it said, most haters are stuck in a poisonous mental prison of jealousy and self-doubt that blinds them to their own potentiality. There's a whole lot of blind, sick people out there. A lot of people that have been self-doubting themselves for so long because of past hurts and past failures. But and instead of allowing those things to strengthen them and to do what they need to do so they can achieve their successes, they'd rather take all that energy to stump you from getting yours. But guess what? We need you, haters. We need you. We need you. We need you. Unfortunately, there are haters. And unfortunately, same way there are successful people, there are some unsuccessful people. But I truly believe that every person could be a success if you put your mind to it. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. And a lot of times, people just want the easy way out, And one thing my father always used to say, and it's a mantra, and I stick to it to this day. And he says, if it's easy to get, then it's easy to lose. If it's hard to get, then it's hard to lose. So, man, put that work in. Put that work in. We have finally made it to the part of the show that I just could not wait to get to, because I am definitely a music lover. And if you're still riding with me, if you're still listening, I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much for your support. You're going to get this show on Instagram, and we're also going to be on SoundCloud right now. So feel free to like it, subscribe to the page of SoundCloud. Feel free to like my page or like my page on Facebook, and follow me on Instagram. That's I'm Creative 16. That's I'm Creative 16. And on Facebook, it's going to be I am Creative 16 as well. So yeah. So this is a part here now. This is very special to me because this is actually the first song that's going to be played on this historical episode of the first episode of Diverge One Radio Podcast. And that's from my sister, Quanisha Taylor, who I have the pleasure to manage. She trusted me to help manage her music career. And she's an awesome singer. I mean, dope artist. And even more beautiful person. And she's my sister. I call her my sister. Blood can't make us no thicker or no closer. And this song right here is called The War Is On. And it has like a Beyonce vibe to it. And I hope you guys enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely enjoy seeing it being made. A shout out to AWOL Productions. Go check him out. And he has his own media He has his own media services. And I'll give you his information and everything on Instagram and Facebook. Go follow him and go see him if you want pictures, video, all that stuff. Flyers. His wife does flyers. They're an awesome couple. But he produced this track and it is fire. Cornisha wrote the lyrics. He produced the track and boom. Let me know what y'all think. All right.
Get ready, 'cause I'm coming after you. I'm tired of you trying to use and confuse me. Time to take all my possessions back from you. Get ready, 'cause the war is on. We're coming after you, coming after you. Get ready, 'cause the war is on. I declare war. The war is on. The war is on. I declare war, so get ready. The war is on. Devil, who do you think you're trying to fool? We have authority to defeat you. We are victorious in everything we do. God's army's coming straight for you. We're coming after you, coming after you. Get ready, 'cause the war is on. I declare war. The war is on. The war is on. I declare war. We're coming. The war is on. Angels all around me. Jesus Christ in front of me. I got my sword, I got my shield, I got my faith, and I'm ready for the war. Angels all around me. Around me. Jesus Christ. You know my Savior's in front of me. I got my sword, I got my shield, I got my faith, and I'm ready for the war. We're coming after you, coming after you. Get ready, 'cause the war is on. You can't have my family. You can't have my family. My life belongs to Jesus Christ. The war is on. We've already won. Yeah. The war is on. We've already won the battle. The war is on.
Hey, y'all, I hope y'all like that, man. That was fire. The war is on. Oh, whoa. Yo, that was dope. Yo, shout out to Qua, man. She was on that. And AWOL, I don't care what nobody say, man. And not like I haven't heard anything, because I don't really know nobody. But anyway, you are the dopest producer I've ever met, man. And even more of a beautiful person. I hope you listening to this podcast and hearing the shout out. But yeah, go see him, man. Go see AWOL for all your production needs, man. And pay that man. Get that man what he deserves. All right. But yeah, listen, we come to a part of the show. Unfortunately, we have to end. But I really enjoyed myself. And listen, don't let this be your last time tuning in. I really appreciate the love. And man, I had such a good time with you hanging out with me. Hopefully, you get a chance to hang out with me some more. But the previous segment, when you heard that crazy song by Qua, "The War Is On," for all my independent artists out there, this show was for you as well. Qua is an independent artist, and I know the struggles, and I know sometimes it's hard to get out there and get your name out there. But hey, I created Diverge1 Radio podcast for you as well. It's not just to help me, but it's to help you. So if you're a dope independent artist and you want your song to be played on my show as the independent artist of the day, of the episode, holla at your boy. Just hit me up. Shoot me a message on SoundCloud. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Or hit me up on my email. imcreative16@gmail.com. And feel free to come back and listen to the next episode. Now, we can come to a part that I promised, simply because all the love that you guys showed me on Instagram and Facebook and just social media, period, altogether was just tremendously surprising. And I did say I was gonna give a shout out to those who were the first to interact with me on my Instagram and Facebook stories throughout the past week. And so the first name is coming from Facebook, and this sister has been interacting with me on my stories for a while, and and she's a beautiful person, and she happened to be a member of my church that I attend. Her name is Gail Chapman. Gail Chapman, I want to give you a shout out, man, on Diverge One Radio's first episode for interacting with me first on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, on Facebook. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you in church on Sunday. Love you, sis. Now, on Instagram, surprisingly, but not surprisingly, because this sister always supports everything that I do. She's a beautiful person. She's also a member of my church. Shout out to Chosen for all the support. And that's on her Instagram name is Y Victory Jules. And her name is Yolanda Hayes. Yolanda Hayes, thank you so much for the support and being one of the ones to first interact on my page. Love you. God bless you. And thank you for all the support. Thank you. But other than that, I want to say thank you. Thank God. And it's been a long time coming. And that's a wrap, y'all. That is a wrap. I'm out.
Diverge Radio, Black Rider, I am creative. Y'all ready?
Yeah! It's time for us to step in. All in the name of Christ is how we reppin'. Yeah! We the future like the Jetsons. And all of our sins is prepaid like the Nesman. Yo, the enemy is getting desperate. We not backing down, we ain't putting down our weapons. Boys, they ain't trying to break this down into sections. But it's time for us to come together, get across.